TG Geeks, episode 223, May 27th, 2019. Tongue-tied drag queens and comics. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Sunday afternoon after Con, Phoenix after Arizona.
Phoenix after Arizona?
I am tongue-tied. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw what you did there. And I'm Ben Raggington, coming to you from, if it's at the end of May and we're exhausted, that must mean only one thing. Phoenix Fan Fusion is over.
Absolutely. Let's get on with the show.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we have an interview with Dylan Bronte and Brooklyn Wilde. Dylan stars in and Brooklyn directs a film that called Tongue-Tied, and it's a short film. She won an award for the screenplay, and then she was going to make it into a feature film, but turned into a short film as a proof of concept type thing. Then we have our birthday shout-outs. We're featured podcasts of the week and everybody's favorite feedback. Then in our second segment, we're going to do a wrap-up of Phoenix Fan Fusion, the things that we did over the 3 days that we went. And we have a weekly recap of items that we ran on the website and our follow-up items as always. So it's a full episode.
When aren't they?
Exactly. Let's get right to it. And this time we have a filmmaker and lead actor on the line with us. We have Brooklyn Wilde, who's the writer and director of Tongue-Tied, and Dylan Bronte, who is the lead actor in that film. Welcome to the show, Dylan and Bryant.
Bryant?
Dylan.
Bryant?
Dylan and Brooklyn. It's
Wow.
already off the rails. Oh, my God. Where am I?
Where did that come from?
I know where that came from.
Okay.
Bryant Dillon is actually with
A friend of ours.
Fanbase Press. So that's where that came from. I'm sorry.
Wow.
So anyway, Brooklyn and Dylan, welcome to the show. There we go. How's that?
Hi, guys.
That's great.
What an
Hi.
auspicious
Thanks for
opening.
having me on.
Yeah, exactly. So who wants to go first, Dylan or Brooklyn? And tell us about yourself and who you are and how you broke into this business and all of that.
Well, let's start with Brooke.
Okay. Brooklyn?
Okay, great. Yeah, hey, I have always been a performer and always someone who is interested in creating visual art, just move people and portray, stories and emotions. And I moved out to Los Angeles maybe about 5 years ago, but the story actually comes from early on in high school when I was trying to write a book on it, and then I eventually wrote it into a feature script, which won an award for the script. But we couldn't get funding, so then I made it into my little baby short film. And yeah, I've just been working on that and doing other producing and acting stuff in the industry since.
Far out. How about you, Dylan? How did you're here, a native of the Valley here in Arizona, and you're out there in LA now?
Yeah,
So.
I grew up out in the Valley in Phoenix, moved out to Los Angeles a few years ago, and been working out there, doing some acting and creating content for social media. I met Brooke a few years ago. She contacted me on Backstage and to do a script reading for Tongue Tie, her short film, and at the time it was a feature film. And she sent me a screenplay, and it was a really, really, really damn good screenplay. And so we got together to do a reading, and the whole project kind of ballooned from there.
And how did you originally get into acting? And did you start at a young age, or in high school?
I started at a young age. I just started acting in high school, and started booking work out here in the Valley when I was 17, and then moved out to Los Angeles shortly after graduating high school, and have been out there since, booking work on television, commercials, all that kind of stuff, and also creating my own content and just generally working in the industry.
Oh, cool. So, who wants to tell us about the film? I guess, Brooke, since you're the writer-director, you can give us a synopsis and what is the film about, and what are you looking at doing with this film?
Right, yeah, absolutely. So before I get into the film, just a little backstory. I was telling Dylan this the other day. I grew up with a really close dear friend of mine in a small town. Our school had 2,000 people in it, and this friend of mine is gay, and you'd think that it'd be more socially acceptable, especially with, I see, like a lot of content out there showing the LGBT community in a good light, but the school we went to, the community we were in, he was always picked on and ridiculed unless I was there to defend him, because he never wanted to defend himself. He just kind of always said he was straight, and I just saw this inner struggle in him and really wanted to tell a story of this, human being who really just wants to be themselves at the end of the day, but the tribe around them, doesn't allow it. So that's where this story came from, and we originally, my friend Lucas and I, sat down to write a book on it in our early years of high school, and that book then transformed into a feature script, which I wrote and submitted to festivals and won a screenplay award in the Beverly Hills Screenplay Contest.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I did have some interest in optioning it to certain film companies, but none of them liked the ending that I wrote, because I wrote more of a harsh and realistic ending instead of like a happy ending. So I was afraid to option it to any studios or companies for the fear of, them changing the harsh reality of what kids, outcast kids, or LGBTQ kids, or even kids with disabilities, or ones that just don't fit into the mold. Have
the
to face.
disenfranchised,
exactly. The other.
Yeah.
we belong to several of those communities.
Yeah. Yeah, we relate.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is like a coming of age drama about like self-discovery and self-acceptance. It's Nathaniel Hawthorne's journey of accepting his sexuality, even though he has conservative parents who don't agree with that, and the kids at school don't necessarily treat him right. But the short film, it's a little bit more interesting. We had to make a twist on it to make it interesting for the 20 minutes that it is. So, yeah, I don't want to give too many spoilers away.
Right.
What were some of the challenges that you had to face condensing? Because as Dylan pointed out earlier, I guess this was originally supposed to be a feature length. It was a fully realized long story. What challenges did you face in trying to trim that down, condense it down into a short film subject, and yet still have it retain its integrity and its healthy narrative pacing?
I was kind of naive trying to just squish the whole 111 pages into 20 pages, and that's when, that's when someone stepped in and they looked at all my acts and they came across the third act and they said, this is where your story starts. this is where your character is really discovering himself.
Oh.
So I took their advice, and I took their advice, and I took the third act, the last about 20 pages. I just kind of rewrote it so it could work as a short, and threw in some flashbacks. That way it could, give the feeling of what happened before. And so now it's literally Nate's journey of self-discovery. As it starts with him waking up in the hospital and his mother saying he has amnesia and that he may have missing memories or false memories. And he comes home and all this stuff is gone. He has no phone. So his parents are really trying to control his life.
Oh dear, this sounds. I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, sounds a little too familiar.
This sounds a little too familiar.
It's hitting close to home.
Yeah. Oops.
Wow. Yeah. So he has to start from the ground up and try to retrace who he is and, basically remember who he is.
Yeah. Would you say that this short film is could be considered a proof of concept towards a feature film at some other point?
Absolutely. But the one thing that I've been realizing is that because it's the third act, it does kind of give away,
right.
Everything that was right. Yeah. So that is the idea with solely submitting to festivals, that maybe we can get some eyes on it there. And if there's any interest, make the feature from there. That way the release is really limited until the feature could possibly be made.
Right.
Dylan, I'm curious, when you took on this, when you were approached with this part, what were your thoughts about the lead character? And was there anything about the character itself that you found either challenging, positive, terrifying? What were some of your impressions on the character itself?
Well, when it was approached for the script, the script itself was really well written. Brooke did a fantastic job with it. The character Nate that I play, I found him pretty relatable. He's in the story. He's of high school age, and he's struggling with his sexuality and figuring things out, and on top of all the normal things that
right.
High school age kids have to go through: socializing, friends being picked on, bullying, and he's in the small Midwest town, and he's discovering that he is, his own sexuality is around him is not okay, especially to his family, and he experiences this level of social ostracization that's, especially after the accident, that's pretty extreme. He's isolated, and I find that a lot of people around that age, I know how I felt in high school. A lot of people can relate to that, and trying to figure out where they fit in. So he's trying to sort things out, and I found that appealing. He doesn't have anything figured out. He's trying to search for literally the truth about what happened to him, about the accident, about his life before the accident, and Nate is having memories, and he's being told that they're false by his family, and so he's struggling with a lot. I was really drawn to it. I have most of my friends actually are part of the LGBTQIA plus community. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of friends who have dealt with this or have dealt with something similar. And so I personally, this story, unfortunately, is still relevant today. If you are a member of that community and you're growing up in certain parts of the country, it's not as if you're growing up in the middle of Wisconsin, it's way more difficult than if you're growing up in Los Angeles.
Well, even for people our age, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I was in a suburb that was really redneck, and I'm 57 years old, so I grew up at a time where it was even there still not very acceptable. Actually, it was downright frowned upon, looked badly. People were being beaten up all the time. I was always on the run and in hiding. And Keith grew up in Oklahoma, so do the math.
I did. I am little small town in Oklahoma, so
So these are things that we really relate to in a very strong way.
So it'll be interesting for us to see the result at some point whenever it makes it to a festival near us.
Yeah, definitely. We actually we do have a little teaser trailer I can send to Dylan. Maybe he can send to you guys.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I think he did send it. I'll have to
Yeah,
look at it again. Yeah,
I'll take a look at that. So, Dylan, in order to create a character, well, I take that back. Brooke created the character, but in order for you to make this character come alive, what were some of the things that you had to do? Because, yes, you pointed out there are some things that you could relate to, but at the same time, there are things that obviously you look at and you say, okay, I don't have that experience. So how did you prepare yourself in order to be able to take on those aspects and yet make them completely believable for the camera and, later the audience?
Well, I did have to do some research into like a character study to an extent of people that have dealt with suicidal thoughts, and I talked with several of my friends about their experience of coming out to their family, what that was like, both the positive and negative ones. And a lot of it really is I go literally through a script breakdown, and I break down every scene and analyze it from every direction that I can, and figure out what Nate is going through in the scene, what the audience needs to see, what kind of conflict he's going through, and it's the script itself is pretty dark, but it's a lot of it was going through the scenes, figuring out what he's going through, and I collaborated with Brooke a lot of that. When we were on set shooting a lot of it, I would speak with her about what she also believed Nate was going through in this moment, in this scene, and what we needed to get across. So I did a lot of work on my own, but there was a huge collaborative part of it on set, and tons of discussion between her and I before.
A lot of what's my motivation kind of thing, I suppose.
So kind of a method acting approach to it. Yeah. Sounds like.
Yes, definitely. And also, getting that headspace of somebody his world is completely upside down, and the people that he's supposed to trust, he can't.
Right.
And that's a bad headspace to be in. So
right.
It's something that, it's just a lot of discussion back and forth. And I approached this job and this role the same way I would have approached any other one. So going through a breakdown, and just getting a handle on what his life is like and what he's going through.
Yeah. So where was this filmed? Obviously in the LA area. Did you have a location, or many locations, or was it mostly in a
on a set?
On a set of sorts.
It was actually really fun because we had a tight budget, so I had to get pretty crafty with how I designed everything, and we had to film in a house for most of it.
Right.
But renting a house to film in Los Angeles is just so exorbitantly expensive.
Right.
Especially when they know you're filming, then they just jack
exactly.
the price up.
Well, and you can't film outside without LA
right.
coming down on you and imposing fines and fees and everything else. So
exactly. So we had a little adventure. We actually went out to Yucca Valley, which is near Joshua Tree. It turns out they're very happy to let you film in their very affordable rental homes out there. So yeah, we all took a trip out to the desert for maybe it was 3 or 4 days, I think, and we all bunked up in a house together and made the film.
Well, that's cool.
What has been go ahead.
I would think that being able, if you stayed in the house that you were filming in and everything, that
makes it handy.
Allowed you to become a little community of your own and kind of chat about what was going on and hopefully not get on anybody's nerves and really make a better quality product.
Yeah, it's funny. I did actually rent hotel rooms for everyone, but everyone ended up staying in the house. So that's actually my favorite part about film is you're really creating a little family of artists who are all there to make something, great. Hopefully, that's
cool.
The idea.
Yeah.
What was the time schedule on this? I mean, from obviously you said you had this story that you've been condensing down. Once the ball started really rolling on the making of this, what was the time frame? I mean, how much time did it take to kind of polish the script up, and then what was your shooting schedule like? Because we have a lot of filmmakers, a lot of independent filmmakers listen to this, and everybody loves to compare notes.
Right. Yeah. And it's always a different process for everyone. But once I had a feature script that I liked, I called, as Dylan said, he came in for a table read of the feature. So I called some people in for a table read, and we did some kind of sizzle shots for an Indiegogo. And we do still have an Indiegogo page up, though our campaign has ended. That's how we funded the short film. And once
cool.
I realized that we were once I realized we weren't going to hit our goal for a feature film funding, I decided this is where we make a really cool short film. And that was about the fall of 2016. So kind of a few years ago. But once the campaign ended, I was in, full circuit doing everything I could. Since it was so low budget, I handled all the producing, all the ADing, all of the everything really, location scouting. And then we filmed and, you know what? Backtrack. I think that 2015. It's been a few years, I will say that. But we did film early January 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your name? Your name was Jack, right?
Jeez.
Jack
As
of all
Jack
trades.
of all trades, yeah.
Yeah. It was really fun to have to work with this budget and to pull together something. And I think mostly because it was a vision I've had for a while is why it was probably really fun. But it has been, maybe about 3 years, a little more than, since we finished filming. And it's been an up and down journey. I was cutting it, and then my whole drive just crashed, and I lost everything I had.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then I was traveling. I was on the other side of the country when someone actually stole my drive with all the footage.
Oh, dear God.
So it set me back to ground zero once again, and I really felt like I was getting beaten down with this project. But then once I came back to LA about a year ago, I recovered the footage from our DP, who had kept a copy. And then it was just all about mustering up the courage to finish a project that I felt like was really a struggle to put together. And so now we're close to picture lock. I've got a great editor with Fall Sweek. He's making an awesome cut. We were actually together last night until like 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Just going over minute details of every, this needs to be 3 frames shorter. And I think there's a better cut that we can put in this. And yeah, and now at this point, I'm hoping about a month from now in June, we'll be able to have a private screening.
And then the future for the film is film festivals, is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm researching which are the best festivals to submit to, and I'm hoping to be able to do that by summer 2019. And whether we hear back and are accepted or we don't hear back or aren't accepted, will determine whether we have a public release or not.
Oh, cool.
Well, fantastic. So
that sounds good.
With all that, this sounds like a really interesting short film. I'm very interested to see the finished product when it's finally out. So for anybody who is, listening to this, who is curious about the status of this film or what either of you might be doing, in relations to this film or for the future, is there any social media presence for, either of you individually or for this film itself, be it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc.?
Absolutely. You can definitely find us on Instagram at Tongue Tied the Movie. And then we have like a little blog going on Tumblr, so it's tonguetiedthemovie.tumblr.com. Unless I get around to buying a domain name, then hopefully I might have.
And how about Twitter or Instagram for the individuals of the two of you?
Yeah, Dylan, what's your handle on Instagram?
Yeah. My handle on Instagram is at Dylan Bronte, and starting in June, I'm going to be releasing several sketch comedy web shorts on Instagram TV, and YouTube that are all sketch comedy type characters that I've been creating over the last little while here, going back and forth between Los Angeles and Phoenix.
Okay.
Nice.
And then do you have Instagram or Twitter, Brooke?
Yeah, you can mostly find me on Instagram these days. It's at Brooklyn, but that's like with no O's, so BRKLYN, Wilde, and that's like Oscar Wilde, so it's WILDE.
Okay. And do you have Twitter by a chance? The reason I ask is
Not
the WordPress that we use only lets us tag people on Twitter, so we can do it at Instagram.
Yeah, it's a manual process,
Instagram, but it's a manual process to tag people, which that's okay. We can do that too.
I have Twitter. I think it's the same handle, or it might have O's in it. I can't remember.
I'll look it up.
I'm checking right.
All right.
Yeah, you'll probably. I don't often use Twitter. It's more Instagram for me these days.
Right. Okay. Well,
Instagram for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, this has been great. Well, thank you both for being on the show.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on the show, Keith and Ben. Really appreciate it.
Hey, it's America's sweetheart, Brian Augustine, comic legend and bon vivant, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
I just love that from Brian. He has such a warped
He's so dry.
And his humor is just, it's just, it fits right in with me anyway.
It fits. Yeah, it's perfect. And he was cracking jokes during the con, and we were like, that's totally cool.
Yeah. So that was an interesting interview with Dylan and Brooklyn, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that film when I get it finished. And now it is time for a few selected birthdays for May 27th through June the 2th. That's what I wrote down. 2019. The Tooth. Yes. May 27th, Chris Colfer. Good Lord, I'm tired. Paul Bettany, Christopher Lee, and Vincent Price.
That's a double whammy.
That's a threefer. And Isadora Duncan. She was a famed dancer who her style is still performed today in some of the European houses. And she died because her scarf was floating behind her and it got caught in the axle of her car.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. That's horrible.
Yes, 1927.
Oh, that's an awful way to die.
Yeah, so that's what she's famed for.
Yikes.
The dancing and dying.
Oh man, that is an awful way to die.
Yeah. Also on May 27th, crazy Uncle Harlan Ellison.
Uncle Harlan, you gotta love the guy.
Yeah. And good friend of ours, Jana Halford and Jeff Gordon. Happy birthday. May 28th, Ian Fleming, who, if you look at the Bond, what he wrote, he was a huge misogynist and sexist.
Well, especially in the early days.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the stuff that he wrote
for
Bond was just downright nasty.
Also on May 28th, Jim Thorpe from Oklahoma. He was a famed Olympic athlete and athlete in several different sports. So happy birthday, Jim Thorpe. Born in 1888. So he was back there. Also Gladys Knight and very good friend of ours, Patricia Chica. Happy birthday, Patricia, after coming back from Cannes. I hope you had a good time there. May 29th, Danny Elfman, Nate Burka, and John F. Kennedy, as well as fellow podcaster Michael Ferris. May 30th, Adele Dazeem, or Idina Menzel, sorry. I can't see that name without saying Adele Dazeem.
Neither could John Travolta.
Exactly. And Mel Blanc, he was a master of 1,000 voices. Oh my gosh. Tom Meany, Mark Shepard, and Benny Goodman. May 31st, Colin Farrell, Walt Whitman, Denham Elliott, Peter Yarrow.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Oh my God.
And Stephanie Weipert, a friend of ours. June 1st, Marilyn Monroe, Morgan Freeman, Andy Griffith, Jonathan Pryce, Kip Thorne, Cleavon Little, Tom Holland, Nelson Riddle, Jennifer Johnson Kano. She is a famed opera singer.
Yes, she
and her husband is the director of the student artist program here at Arizona Opera. And a good friend of ours from Facebook, Mark Jones. June 2nd. Why didn't I put any birthdays for June 2nd? Oh, well. I'm sure there were famous people that had birthdays on June 2nd. I just spaced it out because it was on the next page. Facebook friend Jordan Rumi. Happy birthday to everyone this time. That's it for the birthdays.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name.
Not anymore.
They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama. Rama. And now it's time for our feedback section.
Yeah, so we want to kind of get through this pretty quickly because we got a lot to talk about.
Are you trying to talk over the music?
Yes, I was.
Aha.
So starting off with, like I said, we own just a few things because we do want to spend some time talking about the con.
Absolutely.
This is first in regards to the press release on the Cannes Film Festival's American Pavilion to premiere the courageous short film Jumper about being queer in Middle Eastern society. And we got a comment from Patricia Chica. She's the one who put us in contact with the filmmaker and
Ayman in Russia.
Yes, that's right. And she said, "Thank you so much, Ben Raggington and Keith Lane, for this great article.
You're welcome.
We were happy to cover it." And then got a comment. This is in regards to the trailer we ran for Spider-Man Far From Home. And this is from Kevin Falconberry.
Yeah, my cousin.
And he simply writes, "I can't wait for this. Neither can we." Then lastly, we ran a press release on the movie Gemini Man trailer from Paramount Pictures. It's going to be starring Will Smith. And we got a comment from Arkle. And he says, "I saw this trailer before Endgame, and honestly, I was surprised that I actually dug it. Granted, plenty of awful movies have had good trailers, but I honestly feel like, one, that the people cracking jokes about it on my Twitter feed were being unfair, and two, that this could be the best thing Will Smith has done in at least a decade, if not more."
Mm-hmm.
Well, we shall soon see.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. And that is our feedback for today.
And if you want to leave a comment or feedback on anything we do, whether it's an episode or whether it's an article that we run on the website or on a Facebook article, because we post everything to Facebook, our episodes and every article, you can comment there on Facebook. You can comment on Twitter, on Instagram, on our website. Hey, how about that? tggeeks.com or any place else that you find our content. You can leave a comment or feedback, and you can even call our listener feedback line
Which
if you want
is
to.
lonely.
It's lonely. You could leave a message, and we will play that on air. Call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3355. 857. And when you leave your comments or feedback, please play nice.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
We're going to fade that out kind of quickly.
Yeah, because we got something.
We got a bunch of
We got to really talk about.
we have 3 days to talk about.
Yeah, or at least 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 days. So we attended Phoenix Fan Fusion 2019, and we were there Friday, Saturday, and part of the day on Sunday. And the big thing that we did on Friday was the drag extravaganza. However, I typed drag starvaganza.
I didn't even notice that until
my
you
Lord.
said something.
Oh, Lord. It was going to underline it as being misspelled to begin with, but I really screwed it up.
Anorexic drag queens? Oh, my word.
Oh, dear. No, this was a new signature. Oh, dear. A new signature event for Phoenix Fan Fusion. They decided that they would do a drag show this year.
They used to have a burlesque show, but the
Yeah.
person, for anybody who remembers our interview with Brandon Ray, said the person who programmed that, handled it, she moved away. So they needed something else, and somebody on the Square Egg Entertainment staff said, hey, I got an idea. Why not do this?
Have a drag show. And they brought in Fifi O'Hara, who was formerly, or actually was on RuPaul's Drag Race, I think twice, right?
I'm not sure about that.
And it was hosted by local celebrity drag queen,
Barbara
Seville. And there were a number of drag queens. It was a really, really fun show.
And there were even drag kings. Now, that's
Yeah.
something which I know a lot of people kind of go, what the heck? But holy cow, Eddie Broadway was amazing. Mm-hmm. Really liked his work.
It was a fun show, and the people around us, we were sitting close to the front, and everybody, all the way around us and in back of us, everybody had a great time. There was even a little sing-along.
Several
sing-alongs, and it was a lot of fun. For 2 hours we sat there, and they entertained us.
And some of them were just scary good.
Yes.
I mean, there was one drag queen. She came out in this Joker garb and was just like frantic all over the place, and walked up and down the aisles, and it just oh man, I can't describe it. I really can't. This is something that had to be seen, and she was just breathtaking. I've got a photo of her on our wrap up.
Yeah, you should check out Ben's article on
for the drag extravaganza on our website at tggeeks.com.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. It was at the end of the day, on Friday, we walked the entire
bottom floor.
The
exhibitors hall. It was exhausting.
Oh my God. Every single aisle. We walked up and down that thing. It took us 5 hours.
It took us several hours to do it.
And we, of course, we stopped and talked to people that we knew and made new friends and all of that. And then on Saturday, we had some good friends of ours, Audra and Greg Hall, and their sons, Logan and Bailey, and we dragged them around.
It's like an annual event now.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. And we walked more of the hall downstairs.
As well as the hall on the
upstairs.
Top floor.
Yeah. So it was that was kind of crazy. And let's see, what was the big thing we did on Saturday?
Oh, we saw somebody.
We thought, well, we know we're not going to get any of the celebrities or anything, and we just didn't have an opportunity to really get in on the photo ops. But we decided, well, let's walk over by the celebrities, and if George Takei's line is not very long, we'll get in it, and we'll go see him and talk to him. And it turns out that he wasn't there.
Well, he was on the other side of the room.
He was doing his photo op, and somebody that we have met at a previous con who works part of the crew and set up and everything. He was there, and he said, "Oh, George is coming right back," because he was supposed to take a lunch break, but he's not. He wants to come back and do the
autograph table.
autographs. And we looked, and there were 5 people in line. So he said, okay. So we stood there about 5 minutes, and he walked up, and then we got a chance to talk to Brad. He was circulating down the line and talking to people. And
Brad said he remembered us.
Yeah.
We met Brad and George both at a private party event for the Human Rights Campaign a number back,
Oh, my God.
2006.
What, was it that
It was
long ago?
2006.
Oh, my God. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, and we chatted George up and got his signature, and it was just a really great time. He told us that a new thing that he's got coming out soon about he was filming a mini-series, I think it was.
He was in Vancouver for 10 months filming this thing on the Japanese internment camps.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be, if I'm correct, on Netflix.
I think
in
it was,
August.
yeah. So we're looking forward to that. That was really great. And that was precipitated by the fact that we talked about having seen Allegiance, which
yeah,
was his
that
musical.
got his attention. He was really impressed that we saw that.
Yeah.
So that was nice, and it was just a really great conversation with him. He's terribly nice.
Oh,
he's really
just
just such a wonderful person.
Yeah, just very personable. And let's see what else. Oh, you had a panel.
I had a panel.
You were on a panel.
I was
Sunday
invited
morning.
to be on a panel with Tony Kim. People, longtime listeners of this show might remember we had Tony Kim on. We were doing little on-the-spot interviews with Phoenix, at the time, Phoenix Comic-Con a number of years ago. And it was his first time at the convention showing off his product, his his superhero line of clothing.
Hero Within apparel.
Hero Within.
Yeah.
And we chatted with him up, and we've been friends ever since. And he messaged me about 4 or 5 days ago asking if we were going to be there. And I said, yes, we would. He then said, well, I'm going to be doing this. It's essentially a panel on diversity and equality. And he wanted to know if I'd like to be a part of it. And I said, absolutely. So there I was, 10:30 Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I was there. It wasn't a big panel, but then, the panels in the mornings are tough.
Yeah.
Very hard. It's very, very tough.
Yeah, and we saw our good friends Joseph and Edward. They were running. We saw Edward as he was
breezing by
as we were going down the escalator. He was going up. So, and then we saw Joseph, and he talked to us for a little bit and took us around to a couple of people that we needed to see. So that was kind of nice. And some of the other people that we saw Brian Augustine, who is always a wonderful to chat with.
And he just did a 5-issue series on Archie, the comic book character Archie that we all know, but he kind of gave it more of an adult approach. I mean, mature, that's a better word, a mature approach.
Yeah.
So we bought those. And
Archie 1941.
Yeah, Archie 1941. I'm really looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, and he's actually got a new one that's going to come out soon is Archie 1955. So it's more of that era. So we're looking forward to that. Of course, Brian always has all of his Flash stuff and his Gotham by Gaslight. Yeah, which is just an incredible.
It's a fantastic book.
Yes. So, Brian's always nice to talk to. We always stop and talk to Brian and Nadine, his wife, and it's always nice to chat them up and, it's just fun. We also saw Tommy Cannon, who is our cartoonist for Dr. Zombie.
That's right.
Actually, Dr. Zombie is his, but he allows us to run that comic on Sunday mornings.
And on Sunday, he actually appeared as Dr. Zombie.
Yeah,
a treat.
He played Dr. Zombie at the con. We also saw Kevin Glover, who we interviewed here quite some time ago about his... we saw his stuff and thanked him for the new thing that he did was the
Oh, shoot. I know what you're talking about.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. His new artwork that he had, and of course his wonderful stuff. You had the Frankenstein mummy or Mrs. Frankenstein.
Mrs. Frankenstein.
Yeah. So he's got a line of that, and you said that it kind of takes you back to that old Hammer.
It really is. It reminded me of the stories and the artwork were very indicative of that gothic horror that I loved so much growing up as a kid. That was not that predates Hammer. That's actually more Universal, Universal Studio. So I was just it was really neat being able to chat him up, and I told him about one of the tales that involved a vampire. It had a gay love story.
But that's in the new thing that he did.
Yeah, but he sent us a copy of that, a digital copy.
I bought a copy of it too.
Yeah, but he also sent us I remember he sent us a digital copy of that
like
a year ago.
Right.
And I just wanted to thank him, face to face, and say how beautiful a story it was. And it was great to see. I mean, that's the kind of positive representation that I really wanted for the LGBTQ community to kind of have. And it was nice being able to talk to him like that.
Yeah. We also saw the Janimal, Jan-Mark Quisenbing. He had his stuff there. He was actually a guest at the con. Mm-hmm. He did a couple of panels. And, of course, his artwork is great. I bought one of his Space Force things. It was great. We saw Russ Kazimierczak as we ran by and stopped and chatted with him a little bit. We saw Duncan and Andrea Richoff, and they were at the Amazing Wicked Writers, and that's Terry L. Smith's group that she has. Oh, God, how many? There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, I didn't realize that, man. Yeah. I thought it was, I counted 4.
Oh, it was on both sides and went all the way down. Yeah. So quite a few people. And Terry was there, obviously, with her artwork. Her artwork is incredible.
It's really nice.
Not only can she write, but she does some great
really
art.
Good work.
Yeah. And David Lee Summers was part of that Amazing Wicked Writers, which we got a chance to talk to him. Hopefully we're going to get a chance to talk. We chatted with him just briefly, and he's doing some wonderful, there's some neat stuff going on down at Kit Peak right now, and we can't wait to talk to him again. We saw Hal and Dee Astel. Hal is Apocalypse Later Film Festival, and also they are part of CocoCon, quote unquote, administration, shall we say. But they're kind of helped start that or get that put together for the first couple of years. We saw our friends at Fingerpaint Films and said hi to them. We saw Barbara and Bryant Dillon of Fanbase Press. Yeah.
Got to chat them up for quite some time. It was
photo
great.
with them, and saw Tony Kim, obviously, of Hero Within Apparel. And we made quite a few new friends.
Yes, we did.
Great. Did I forget anybody?
In terms of people that we already know, no. But you're right. We made some new friends, and including the co-panelist.
Yeah.
Oh, she was amazing. A marvelous artist.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping to, work with her and give her some more push, and because I see some really great things coming from her as well.
Yeah. There's lots of people to see, lots of things to do. We gave out a bunch of wristbands that we have and cards and just did a lot of networking. So it was just a lot of fun. We had a great con, and thank you to Phoenix Fan Fusion for allowing us to have media passes and to cover the con and to cover the drag starvaganza.
No, jeez.
That's a new weight loss program for drag queens.
Weight loss program for drag queens.
Oh, boy. And that, gosh, what else did we do?
That was pretty much it.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, but it was a lot. There was a lot to look at, a lot to experience. My big takeaway will be the drag extravaganza, the Queen Lantern Corps. That was just amazing.
That and George Takei. Those were the two big things that happened for us this con. So it was a really good one. We look forward to next year. We might have some interesting things going on next year with the con, so we'll see. So that's it.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
If you are in transition or have already transitioned and are in crisis, or you know of someone in crisis, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by specially trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to thetranslifeline.org for more information about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. And now we're going to have a weekly recap of what we ran in on the website last week. I do want to say one thing. We stopped in at the Diversity Lounge.
Yes.
And chatted with the folks there, and we may have some things going on with them soon.
Yes, because there's a Phoenix Gamers Association.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Because some interesting things there.
Yeah.
So, starting off with Sunday, May 19th, we had issue number 49 of Dr. Zombie, Monster Family Physician. On Monday the 20th, episode 222 of the TG Geeks, as well as Sony Pictures releases Brightburn, the final trailer. On Tuesday the 21st, Festival de Cannes, special coverage. It was our interview with Julie Sisk. She's the founder of the American Pavilion. Also, we had another one of Erin's Arcade of Words reviews, and she looks at issue number 4 of the sequels, the final chapter. Also, we had the Red Band trailer, the new Red Band trailer of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I'm really looking forward to that one. And then on Wednesday the 22nd, Andrea's Angle, this time for Booksmart. She calls it Superbad for Girls.
Superbad.
And then she also, on the 23rd, has a thoughtful study in contrast. The movie is Photograph. Also, I had a book review. This is my gay book breakdown. For the book Red, White, and Royal Blue, I call it a remarkable royal gay romantic romp. And I chose those words deliberately.
Uh-huh.
And also on that day, DreamWorks releases Abominable trailer.
That looks fun.
It looks very silly. We also had a new trailer released for Terminator Dark Fate, which does not look silly.
No.
And then on Friday the 24th, issue number 64 of News Sushi, morsels of news from Japan and beyond. And then on the 25th, Saturday, the Queen Lantern Corps Drag Extravaganza at Phoenix Fan Fusion 2019. That is my look at the marvelous drag show that Phoenix Fan Fusion put on. And then lastly, we have from Hamish Downey, 5 questions with M.J. Rokisono, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what we had running on our website.
You could find all those things at tggeeks.com, as well as the entries on our Facebook page. Please visit and comment there. As always, we have our follow-up items. We're huge supporters of independent creators, as everybody knows, whether it be filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please buy their stuff. Support them by talking about their stuff, sharing their articles, sharing their tweets, etc., etc., etc. If you go to a con, please have cash for them. We actually ran out of cash and had to pay with a card on a couple of things on Sunday, but we tried to have cash for everybody, and please consider supporting independent creators. WhedonCon, June 7th through 9th at the Hilton LAX. WhedonCon is a Whedonverse convention designed for fans by fans, with the aim of harnessing the power of fandom to raise money for charities while creating a fun, interactive environment for attendees and guests. A few of the guests on the list this year are James Marsters, Summer Glau, and Gigi Edgley, and more. We'll be covering the convention and relaxing, so we'll be out there, and we'll be in the hotel. Come on down. There are still tickets on sale. Go to WhedonCon.com. CocoCon returns for a second year, Labor Day weekend, at the Doubletree Hotel in Metro Center, Phoenix. It's a smaller con. Come on down, enjoy the folks and festivities. We'll be there doing our popular concast as well as socializing. And they're limiting the number of badges to 500. So it's a small fan-run con.
Very intimate.
It's a lot of fun. They have a little tiny dealer's room, and they have several panels. They've got art show. They got lots of stuff going on.
If they have any of the same panels like they did last time, it'll be very good.
Yeah. And go to cococon.org. That's COKO.co.
Wow.
COKOCON.org. Yeah. Joshua Tree Feeding Program. The goal of Joshua Tree Feeding Program is to provide nourishment to low-income HIV-positive residents of Maricopa County. They provide balanced meals from their pantry, and it is a pantry where clients have the opportunity to choose what they want, just like a grocery store. Please consider supporting Joshua Tree either with a single gift or a monthly recurring gift. Go to jtfp.org.
And before I go to the shout-outs, I want to make a special mention. I mean, this is Memorial Day that this is coming out, and I just want to tip my hat to all those people in the military. I know there's one or two that actually listen to us. So I want to tip my hat to all of them that are serving, that have served, and that includes your brother.
Yes, my brother, Kurt.
So thank you, all of you. We remember you.
Yes.
So, special shout out to the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News from the Human Arkle. That is Brian Weber. We heard from him a little bit earlier in our feedback. And the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News continues to republish our content from time to time. And you can find him by going to Twitter and searching Arkle, A-R-K-L-E. Let's give a couple of shout outs to some Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their page. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours, big thanks to the moderators for giving us permission, and their quote was, share away. So we do. And the URL is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for allowing us to share all of our stuff on their page. And the URL is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek, all one word. Special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves, for giving us his blessings to share that content there.
Thank you, Jeremiah. And lastly, we are now on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, as well as where other fine podcasts may be found. Check us out on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, or that's Saturday, on Tuesdays, and listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, I don't know what we're going to have next week. We got several things in the can, but we'll figure it out when we get there. Mm-hmm. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things that we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind.
Cheers.
Peace.